everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Untold with Hussein.
Ahmad. We make the joke for every episode,
Yes.
every day.
I can't help it, you know?
All right, today's
How've you
going
been,
to
man?
be... All good,
Yeah.
honestly. All good, how are you?
It's been fun doing. We're past
for
35
me.
episodes now, 40
No.
episodes. What? It's not fun.
Not for me,
It's
not
not
for
fun.
me. No.
Just doing it for the
Just
money.
gonna do it solo.
That's it.
The Untold with Hussein Ajouz only.
Well, that is an option.
What's today about?
Today is all about studying abroad.
Yes.
And we have a very interesting guest, not a stranger to KTV2.
Yep.
Been on different shows in the past. We're going to discuss what they studied, what they did in Australia.
Exactly. For anyone that wants to study abroad, honestly,
Yes, this is
for
the
you.
episode to listen to. Let's not waste any time and welcome our guest, Farah AlShatti, right after this. We're back on the Untold, joined by an engineer in her own rights, all the way from Australia. Not really, but just studying there.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to be funny
Okay.
here. Just relax.
Okay.
Farah AlShatti, not a stranger to KTV2. Welcome back on the screen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
It's nice
good.
to meet you, honestly.
Nice to meet you too.
Good to have an engineer on the show.
Yeah.
Am I the first one?
Well, we've had a few engineers,
Yeah.
but the first petroleum engineer
They studied in
in
Australia.
Australia, of all places.
Usually when they say petroleum engineering and oh, you've studied in Australia, they think ACK and I'm like, nope, not ACK.
Fair
Actually, the country is.
Fair enough. I mean, there's a little bit of a, there's-
connection there.
mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So let's just start right after high school. What made you choose engineering, petroleum engineering, Australia as a country? to
So many
study in?
questions, yeah,
So
yeah.
many questions.
Okay, so high school graduated a year early, so
Mhm.
grade 11, so year 11.
yeah,
Why
yeah.
did you graduate early?
Private school.
Private school
So
system.
I finished
Is it
early.
British system?
Yes.
Okay, that
so I
was
did.
much easier to say that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I did most of my exams in year 10 and I only had like a couple left for year 11 and I
Mhm.
did that and I was like, I'm not staying a year extra in high school.
Fair. It's like IGs.
Bye. Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I did take 2 ASs.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
so how
Um,
did Australia and petroleum engineering happen?
So when I applied for a scholarship,
Mhm.
on my time it was basically you get to pick any country with any degree and then you
But
know
that's it.
that's pretty much it. And
Okay.
then they just choose one and
Okay.
Send
What
you
were
there.
your top choices?
so I had like 3 for the UK. No, wait, I had 4 for the UK,
Mhm.
2 for the US.
What majors though?
Pretty much all engineering. I wanted dentistry, but I was a few points shy.
But that's a bit of a, it's not a little bit, it's a huge
The
difference.
dream
between
was
dentistry.
dentistry.
No, but I was a few points shy, and I didn't want my parents to pay for another year in private school. So I was just like,
Okay.
it gets me in engineering, so I'll just go into engineering.
So petroleum wasn't specifically
No,
what you
it was
applied
the
for.
last option.
Oh my God, okay.
I'll get there.
Okay, let's
Okay,
hear.
so my first plan was basically I wanted the closest place to Kuwait because
Fair.
I loved Kuwait, and I still do.
Which
but
is not Australia.
But it wasn't Australia. It was the UK. So I was like, I put 4 options for there, and I went from everything from mechanical engineering up
Yeah.
until nuclear engineering. They
Wow.
did have nuclear engineering.
Nuclear engineer.
That's
Yes.
crazy, alright,
Wow.
okay.
So I had 4 for the UK, 2 for the US, 1 for Malta.
Mm.
Malta had architectural engineering only.
Okay.
And then the last one was petroleum engineering in Australia.
Okay.
And so the reason they sent me there, and I'll tell you there is a reason why they sent me there, is because my older sister had applied with me and she had picked Australia.
Okay.
All of our options were Australia. So when my dad handed in the papers, they were basically like, don't worry, we're gonna send them together. Guess what happened?
They sent you together.
They sent them together.
Yeah, but guess what happened?
What?
Australia is like huge.
So were these, but were these, did you know much about Australia
No.
before going?
All
on?
I
So
knew-
zero expectations.
0 expectations, and plus I was deathly afraid of it because my older sister only told me one fact about it. It is like known for its insects and snakes, and I am
Spiders?
Yes, that
lots
too.
and lots
And
of
I'm sure you're a big
spiders.
fan of spiders. I have a feeling.
Spider-
Look,
Spider-Man,
now,
but not spiders.
no. Now I can tell you, after living there, I can conquer anything. Give me
Is it
anything.
true?
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah, like you can give me
You've
anything.
faced spiders head on
Yes, pretty much.
and won? or burnt the house.
See, no. The thing in Australia they tell you is the smaller they are, that's
the
when you
more
run.
lethal they are.
Yeah, that's when you run.
That's spiders in general.
Can't
Yeah.
see them, like they're too small.
The bigger they are, that's where you have.
You
I
pet
remember.
them. The big ones you pet.
I remember moving out of my apartment, and the day I moved out, I did see a spider, and it was like the tiniest black one. And so my
Lethal.
landlord was telling me, did it
One.
have a red dot on its back? I was like, I don't know. It was tiny. He's like, good thing you're moving out. I was like, okay, why? He's like, if it had a red dot on its back.
That makes it the Black Widow?
Of course,
Yeah,
of course.
no, a redback spider or something, and you die within like 30 minutes.
But can I ask a question? So obviously, besides death and,
Yeah.
and you know all the bad things, obviously when you went there was definitely a beautiful side to it. Like, I mean, let's go back to the first time, because obviously you went to the country which you didn't plan to go to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you went with your sister, which obviously I'm sure you didn't plan to. And
Oh no, we ended up in 2 different states.
That's the
By
thing
the
that
same
she was
country.
going to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That we'll take care of them, but then they put them two different.
So we were actually a plane ride away from each other.
Oh, fair. Okay, wow. So you land in Australia, and what was your,
Oh, so,
perspective when you?
The first
landed?
thing we landed in was Sydney, so it's like the touristic capital. I
Yeah.
think that and Melbourne
How
are
was
considered
that?
the touristic capital, but not the actual capital.
Do you know the capital? Because a lot of people don't.
Canberra.
There you go.
Okay.
Must have been beautiful though.
I'd fail if I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Canberra is the actual capital, but no, we ended up in Sydney because my sister got accepted into Sydney. It was absolutely beautiful. Honestly, it's so pretty.
Sydney.
I'm a city girl, so I loved it a lot.
Yeah, fair.
So how was Adelaide then?
A village. Like I'm
No, but
comparing.
what's wrong with that? I
No,
think
but
villages are
now
beautiful.
I
Yeah.
will choose Adelaide over Sydney, Melbourne.
Of course, because
I
you
will-
spent your life there.
Yeah, and it's like rustic.
It has a special
Feel-
home feeling.
No,
All my
think-
friends are there.
Yeah.
I think you only appreciate such areas when you live in them. Like I lived in technically a small, well, it's not small, it was a big city, but I've been to
Yeah.
small cities and I only appreciate them when I actually see how beautiful they are. I would love to be in the city every once in a while, but not every day. That's
Yes.
my perspective.
See,
You know what I mean?
that was my thing with Sydney and Melbourne. Like, it's nice for a weekend getaway. It's nice for a vacation. But if I was studying there,
Living
I would
there,
be
studying,
distracted
yeah.
like 24/7.
True.
You know, obviously, because we've done education in Kuwait
Yeah.
in terms of high school. At least I've done the IGs as well.
Yeah.
So before going to school, I didn't know what to expect in terms of how hard education is going to be, and I struggled for the first few months.
Yeah,
let's just
pretty
say,
much,
to
yeah.
adapt to change. But how was your experience going from?
okay,
it's like grade
studying-
11, by the way, so that's big.
Yeah, like the foundation year was hard, which is the year 12 equivalent.
Yeah, fair.
And then uni was kind of hard, but it was so like I was a bookworm, but not really a bookworm. Like I'd study on time and then have fun.
Okay.
You've
I
worked
tried-
hard. You've
yeah.
earned your degree.
You work hard, you play hard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess so. I don't know. I would guess so.
No, fair enough. I love that. So basically, you really worked hard on what you want,
Yes.
and here we are today.
Yeah, and well, since how many years did you spend in
7.
Adelaide? 7 years.
7.
Did you feel homesick at any point?
Okay, so the first year, I'm a total family person, so I used to sit like with my mom and dad every single day. And that first, I want to say the first year of having to like depend on yourself by
Yeah.
yourself and not having like you couldn't like you were in literally an apartment by yourself and you needed to do everything by yourself. That was
Crazy.
the hardest year
It's
ever.
underestimated.
Exactly, but it teaches you a lot, and it makes you grow up.
Builds character too.
Exactly, like you need to learn how to spend your money. You need to learn
course.
how to save. You need to learn how
course.
to manage your time. You learn how to cook. I say that diligently because I did not cook before going abroad, and then I had to cook.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
That's the one thing about people going abroad.
They
You know
learn-
they did the right thing if they started cooking, then became somewhat of a chef.
Now, like you give me
You
any
know?
recipe, I can cook it up.
Yeah.
But
No,
like,
but I can definitely reflect. I remember when I first traveled to the UK, I remember
You
4
couldn't make
months.
eggs, right?
No, I could actually make good food.
I
I learned
was
how to
gonna
make
say
porridge in the
toast.
UK. But I mean, and that. But basically, I remember 4 months after I landed in the UK, I actually got really homesick, and I called my dad. I was like, I want to leave.
I would call them every day at 2 a.m. and I would be like crying, please send me back home. I want to go back home and study. But then after I think about 4 months or as you said, 4 or 5 months, that's when it kicks in.
But you went to the US.
Yeah.
I mean, did you feel the same way?
Like homesick?
Yeah?
It felt like home. I'm
Because you guys are
sorry.
literally both extreme, right?
Felt like home.
No sick at home.
No, it's different when you've been dreaming all your life to move there and live there.
Of course.
So it's just been a long time coming.
Fair,
you know,
fair.
And I enjoyed every second of it.
No, I'm glad.
I don't
Honestly,
take it for granted.
You know, I mean, yeah, it's very rare for people to travel and not get homesick. To be honest, I feel if you didn't feel homesick, you're lucky.
But now, but then like after a while, it does. Do get into that limbo of if I'm here, I'm homesick for there, but if I'm there, I'm homesick for there. Like
it's
so
always
now,
greener on the other side.
No,
We always
now
wanna
I'm
be
homesick
somewhere
for
else.
Australia. Like, but when I'm there, I'm homesick for Kuwait. It's like,
Okay. What challenges you faced in your 7 years in Australia?
what didn't I face? I want to say, what didn't I? Okay, learn.
Something memorable, worth mentioning. Take your time.
You need to really pinpoint it. I would just say money.
Money-wise.
Money.
Financially,
Because
it was difficult.
in Kuwait, I want to say this honestly. In Kuwait, you're never taught to have a job or take care of money. Your
Yeah.
parents are always there.
That's very true. That's very true.
If you
Always
got
being
stuck,
provided for.
exactly.
We're privileged.
Exactly. So when you go there, you need to learn that okay, you've got this amount of money, and you need to know how to
You
make
need to
it.
budget. And we never
But
learned
yeah,
budgeting.
But
you
then
know?
again, this goes back to culture and norms, right? I think in Kuwait, it's not that it's right or wrong. I think this is our culture. I mean, where you're with your parents for an elder age, and
Like
whereas in
I'm
Western
not
world,
saying
they're
no. Like I did have chores. I did get paid money to do
Yeah.
stuff, and like my
Yeah.
chores, you'd get babysitting, you'd get like 5K in that. But you never really had like a job where you were like,
Of course, yeah.
okay, I need to set all my rent. I need to pay electricity. I need
Yeah.
to pay my.
You need to adult.
Exactly,
basically.
pretty
It's
much.
adulting, you know?
So what about money that you feel? Because obviously, I think the one thing that annoys me about education, although it could be great to an extent, but then they don't teach you the basics of financial management.
Yeah.
I think NBK, or I don't know what bank, but some thingy, they did start an initiative in the schools where they
To
are
teach financial management.
Yeah, it's starting.
That's
to
very
teach-
smart. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
That
I mean, I struggled with finances.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. For
I
me
think
to see,
that's a common factor
Yeah.
for all students' experiences abroad, is having a finite amount
Exactly.
of resources.
absolutely.
And you're
I-
given a certain amount and you have to deal with it.
Another aspect, I would say, not for me, but for other students, was the language barrier.
Language barrier, of course.
Like,
Of
I
course,
wouldn't say
yeah.
me, but like
But
for
language
others.
barrier in Australia, why?
Well,
No, not for me, but
for
like
a lot of students that
A
go
lot of
abroad,
students
they
that-
don't necessarily have perfect English, but they
Yes.
get to develop it there.
But
that's the beauty of it.
That's the nice thing of studying abroad is you get to interact with the local
Yes,
community. You
yes.
get to, like, depending on how you are, but the more you interact with people, the more you actually throw yourself in there and try and learn how they.
New things, yeah.
That's the thing. I'll be honest with you, and this perspective might be wrong, but when I traveled to the UK, I always told my friends that I actually learned more from people than I did from books.
Exactly.
And that was my experience.
No.
It could be not.
That's true.
It's not. It could be a flawed perspective to an extent.
Like,
Well,
learn
what do you
from
think it
people how to work, manage, socialize. Yes. Engineering, not really. No, you had to actually
Too
read
well.
books.
Too well.
Because you've definitely had. I mean, petroleum is a lot of work.
Didn't
It's
you
one of
wanna-
the easiest engineerings.
It's
Petroleum engineering is the easiest.
I know you
Okay,
have
so-
organic chemistry,
okay.
which is a struggle. I've heard about that one.
What do you call it? We call mechanical engineering the mother of all engineerings.
Okay.
Okay, and I think electrical engineerings or chemical engineerings are gonna come. Engineers are gonna come after me. One of them is the dad.
I
They
want to
get
know.
to
I was
fight.
literally just going to ask who's the father.
Either
Business.
electrical or chemical. They can
What you're
fight.
trying to say is
Yeah.
petroleum engineering
It's
is
like a baby engineering.
Interesting.
It's a good engineering. It's not. It's hard, but it's like.
sounds difficult on paper.
It does sound difficult on paper, but it's pretty straightforward.
Good
Pretty
to know.
straightforward. Petroleum.
Yes.
Petroleum is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Really? I
Like-
mean, digging a hole on the floor and taking
I
petrol
had
out
to
is not
take
probably-
one subject,
It's not
and I
rocket
think
science.
it's not rocket science.
I'm
It
sure,
is
I'm
not
sure.
rocket science, and I guess this conversation continues
Yeah.
right after this break.
We're back with a conversation with engineer Farah. So, I'll call you engineer. We've spoken so much about education and how you got there and the hardships and so on. Where is Farah today? What are you doing today?
Today I work for the Ministry of Electricity and Water.
Okay.
and I'm a mother, a new mom
Nice.
to baby G. I call her baby G. But
Cute.
she's 9 months old and she just got her 2 teeth. So
Cute.
yes, we just did. We call it noon,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is like
everyone-
throwing
yeah.
candy and everything.
Uh-huh.
And she's just started to stand up, so still
It's
not
very cute.
She's about to
walking.
walk.
About to.
About to walk.
Took like a couple of steps.
How does
but
it feel being a mother?
amazing.
Is it anything you've expected?
Look, they always like that was like my one main fear of being terrified of being a mother. I don't know. I always
Terrified
had
of being a mother because
I always had this image that because I'm a workaholic, I love working, and you can ask anyone at work. I am like the one
You
that
have a work ethic that you just like to stick to. I respect
Exactly.
that.
So
really respect that.
I always felt bad that if I did have a kid, I'd miss out on them. But thankfully, I've learned to balance work
life
and mom life,
Yeah.
mom responsibilities.
which is
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
It's good,
What
and
do
I
you-
do bring her to work sometimes.
Obviously, I want to ask you something about before I ask about the because being a
Yeah.
mother and after education is a huge topic. But about education, before we move to that, did you expect or is what you're working in any way related to what you studied?
Sadly, no.
Okay.
It's gotten
7 years got to waste.
I don't want to say it's gone to waste.
Look at the bright side. Yeah, there's
No,
always
I
the
don't
bright
want to say
side.
it's gone to waste because I still do some engineering stuff in my work.
It's a lot of paper pushing.
It's a lot of people are pushing.
But yeah, I think you're being a bit unfair or too harsh on petroleum.
But
though.
like with engineering, it's basically problem solving.
Are you problem solving?
Oh yes.
Good.
See,
Oh,
that's
yes.
the thing. That's the
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
Problems, perhaps in work and in life in general.
Exactly. It makes you always think that there's always a solution. You get to work your way out of it. You get to adapt. You get to create something and try. If you do face an issue or a problem,
Yeah.
you need to somehow find a way and find a solution, and it just clicks. So
Are you unhappy that you're not working in your field?
no, I really like my job.
Okay.
It's
So
a
it worked
fun,
out in the end.
Yeah, it's a fun job. The people I work with are amazing. I got to learn a lot of new stuff about a lot of stuff that I didn't expect to know, which is really interesting. And it is scary that the whole of Kuwait's electrical power grid can fail by like one
One
simple
error.
thing.
Okay.
But
Wow.
it's absolutely amazing to know all that hard work that people do put behind.
Now back to studying abroad. Did any experience there help you, or help shape the mother that you are today?
I want to say it taught me. Okay.
Taught you what? Patience.
That, but not only that, and not to expect a lot. Like, don't put a lot of goals, or how do you say? Don't try and make your life picture perfect, because you never know what to expect. Like, anything can happen. So
Right.
just kind of leave it as work as you kind of go. Do have some basic goals, but kind of keep them general as is.
Okay. And what did you pick up from the culture?
Oh,
What made
coffee.
you loved Australia? Coffee.
Coffee.
And
Coffee
you're
is Australia.
specialized.
They have the best
Yeah.
coffee.
They actually, I don't know
And
that.
we're getting to that.
They have the
I didn't know
best
that.
coffee.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know
Well,
I
how
love-
about, like, is the coffee, how good it is, and what
Well,
made you
see,
get
like,
certified in it?
Look, yeah, exactly. So
So you got certified?
Yeah.
yes, I did
She's
a
a
course.
barista.
I'm a certified barista.
Nice.
I love their. See, I was always like in Kuwait before going studying abroad. I was the person that ordered a cappuccino and add 6 spoons of sugar in.
Oh God.
Yeah, 6 spoons, like 6 sticks of sugar in.
6.
Where's
Yes.
the doctor we were talking to?
I had half,
No.
yeah.
And then when I got there, and then
6.
I'd go grab coffee with my uni friends, they'd be just like, they're like, why are you tarnishing coffee
Yeah.
that much? I was like, why? They're like, okay. So they got me off of it by letting me have mocha for like about 3 weeks.
Okay.
To
And I-
wean you off the sugar?
To wean me off the sugar. But their mocha is so much different and so much better than Kuwait's mocha.
So how did you becoming certified barista happen?
Oh, I used to volunteer and then
Uh-huh.
eventually got paid to work. But I used to volunteer at this pop-up non-organization shop
Okay.
thingy that had a coffee little
Little
section.
coffee shop, okay.
corner, and so they had an employee there that did a coffee course for us,
Okay.
and then I was like, okay, I'm really liking this. I
And
like
you're like,
making
"This is it."
coffee. So I was like, okay, how do I evolve? So I did basically go search, and I took a course, and I got certified level 1 and then certified level 2.
How long ago was this? Are we talking a long time ago, or is this recent?
10 years ago.
Okay, a long time ago.
About
so,
10 years ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the curious little person.
Got into
in
a
you-
little obsession, but that's about it. Like I've never, like I do have my own coffee machine at home. I do like to do little latte art from time to time, but that's about it.
But you do at home only, or do you practice it elsewhere? Do you? would
No,
you
no, no,
work
just
elsewhere?
at home.
And
Okay.
how did your family and friends react to you being a barista certified?
They were awesome. Like
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Supportive?
like yeah.
Didn't joke about it?
Do you make
No.
coffee for everyone?
Huh?
Are you like a coffee maker for everyone now?
No,
Not really.
It's like
just
you-
for me
the
and
art and all that.
me and
yeah.
my hubby. I used to always make me and my hubby, and that's about it. Like you know, if I
That's nice though.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, very interesting. Because you said level 1, level 2. I'm very curious to know, like, what does level 2 have?
What is the
Level one-
highest
level 2
degree?
focuses on the art. So level 1 makes you.
Because everyone makes the tree.
No, no.
No, come on.
Everyone makes the same
You
palm.
never got a heart?
I got a swan.
And then a swan. Yeah, that's what I was gonna
A
say. The
swan.
swan, and
I
then
got a swan, yeah.
you've got like the double doves, and then you've got the hearts.
But
There's
here's the
like,
question I like to ask for people who make
Coffee.
that art.
Yeah,
After
okay.
you give it to me, I'm just
You're
gonna
not.
drink.
No, you're not meant to ruin it. I'm telling him. There's like
What
a
do you-
There's a
professional.
way to drink these coffees.
So let me guess. I have to drink it in a way just to break it a
Yes.
little bit, and the liquid has to
No,
slowly.
no,
No,
because
no,
like
no,
when
no,
you
no,
sip
no.
your cup of coffee, you're sipping it. You just take it, like you keep sipping from the same spot, so the image doesn't get ruined, and it lasts till the end.
But life's too short.
Life's too short.
Unless you're like the type of person that throws a stick of sugar and then shakes it.
No,
Just
no sugar
ruins
for
all
me.
that hard
No.
work.
Life's too short.
I
you
don't
know.
understand sugar and coffee.
Life's too
That's-
short. So if you had sipped it, you wouldn't have.
I think we should drink hot coffee in a straw. That way you wouldn't ruin it at all.
No,
That's a
no,
good-
no.
that's a
But
good
like, if
solution,
you
though.
sip it, you won't ruin that shape. Like, if you're telling me you're not adding sugar or anything, you're literally taking a sip from the same spot every time.
Okay.
All right,
Right.
I want to ask.
We're gonna ruin the.
I
Your
want to
art.
ask the questions. Like, I
Yes.
obviously see someone that's very curious and someone that's loves to try. I mean, for you to get into coffee and go into 2 levels of it,
Hey.
and now you're a mother, and I'm sure you're applying a lot of problem solving, hard work,
Yeah.
curiosity to getting to know your child. Were these things always consistent with you ever since pre-university days, or is this new in your life, or were you always this person that was so curious about life to learn problem solve?
I wouldn't say yes and no.
Let's start with a no.
Not really, because like I used to like to read, but that was about it. I like to read,
So it was mainly focused on reading. You didn't know what was
like
out there.
gaining
before?
knowledge
Okay.
from books. That's about it.
Okay.
But when I got studied abroad, that kind of opened up a new aspect of my life where you
Okay.
get to experience it yourself, go and discover yourself. Go
Okay.
find
And that's why
yourself.
it's like the self-discovery journey.
Yeah.
Australia was more and more. So I think Australia taught you more about yourself.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna say more than petroleum, of course, but like it taught you a lot about yourself.
No, it taught me that like throw any problem at me, I can handle it 80% of the time, and if I
80%,
don't,
that's a
80%.
Good, that's a good percentage.
That's a problem solver
That's a
over
good
there.
percentage.
That's an engineer.
and if
And
I
she
can,
identifies there's 20% where I
and
can't.
if I can't, I can ask for help. I can humbly ask for help.
There's never.
'Cause,
That's
like,
very
there's
nice.
nothing
though.
wrong with
Yeah.
asking
That's
for
Yeah.
help.
very, very nice. Though.
I realized like you can ask for help. There is
True,
nothing wrong
true.
with that.
So, we went from petroleum engineering, coffee, working the job that you're working,
Mom.
and then mom, and then somehow you're hosting on KTV too.
I do, but I haven't hosted in
You
a while.
haven't hosted in a while,
So what do you
granted,
host?
but how did that happen? And why?
I would like to give a good applause to my lovely brother-in-law who introduced, or like didn't introduce me, but like
Who's that? I'm so curious.
you're so curious. He's sitting right next to you. He's your
Oh,
co-host.
it's him. All right.
Yeah.
I call him as him. You know?
No, but he recommended me for the part. That was it. He recommended me for the part. and-
Okay. So nepotism is what you're saying.
No, not nepotism, because they didn't call me back until like 5 months later. And you didn't even
we
know
don't
they
have
called me
nepotism at
back.
KTV.
I'm
There
in
we
the same
go.
boat. I'm in the same boat.
Okay, so how was the experience? working
It's
for television?
amazing. It's amazing. I got to meet a lot of new people and realize the tough, like honestly, the cast and crew that goes behind actually.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you guys. We
helping out.
appreciate everything that you're doing. Thank you.
It's actually amazing.
Yes.
What is it? What did it teach you? Anything different that the other experiences didn't teach you?
No, it's just added more. I want to say it's
Added
just added
more.
more.
Made it richer.
Yes, pretty much added more. I've got to try and think on the spot more often.
Yeah.
You're laughing. Try and think on the spot more often.
That one I agree with you, by the way.
I'm stuck.
That one I actually agree with you on. Having to be able to be very spontaneous and kind of think on the spot.
Now, since we've all studied abroad, and now you have a daughter,
Mhm.
would you advise her to study abroad as
Definitely.
well? Definitely.
Australia?
Definitely.
Australia?
Wherever she
wants.
chooses,
That's a
pretty
true supportive mother, not insisting.
Fair, I
where
like
she
that.
studies and
I'm
stuff.
all for.
I like that, that's
I'm all
nice.
for people studying in a different country than they started with, because it teaches them to learn about different cultures, learn different practices. Their views might not be your views, but that isn't for you to judge. So just experience life, get to know how the world works and moves.
Yeah, 100%. I think when you're in the same country that you were born in, studied in,
for the rest of your life.
you're limited in terms of what you're seeing.
You're being put in a box.
We are. I think we are. And again, I say that you learn from people and you learn from countries.
Exactly. So
There's a huge
most of my close
universe out
friends
there to
are-
explore.
90% of my friends are not in Kuwait. So I've got friends in pretty much almost a lot of countries.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Like every country I could go to.
And, have a friend
So
there.
if I was to ask you, like, perhaps one word answers, like, what's the
Okay.
best part about studying abroad?
The experience.
What's the worst part about studying abroad?
The studying. I swear to God, it's the
Petroleum.
studying.
Engineering.
Whatever major it is, the worst part is studying.
No, the studying was nice.
What's the worst part for you?
The homesickness.
The homesickness.
Yes. You have to have that homesickness. Like,
Are you saying I'm not human?
you did have that homesickness?
You know what
You used
mine
to call
is?
us all the time.
The worst part
Ooh.
about studying abroad for me is that it's not a one word, a sentence, but like it's taken for granted when you go there. Once the 4 years, 6 years, 7 years hit, it just goes by.
You wish
leave
it could come back.
and then you wish you could go back. And
Exactly.
sometimes I remember
Yeah.
the moments I felt so bored in the UK. I'm like, now I want to be back.
No, I was never bored. That's a
Yeah.
good thing. I was never bored, but
That's
like
good.
to this
Yeah.
day, I wish I could go back and just
I
move
think
that
it-
7 years into
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
10, 12. I get why people expand that limit.
Well, honestly, we wish you all the best.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for having me.
It was a pleasure having this conversation with you and wish to see you more on KTV2 in the future.
Hopefully.
Shall we take a word of encouragement from her first? Before
Sure,
we end,
yes.
please? All right. Look, if we were to tell the audience just a word of encouragement, whether they want to study abroad, do petroleum, I mean,
Well,
go to
maybe not-
Australia.
Maybe not
Maybe not
petroleum,
petroleum.
but like definitely for studying abroad, just do it. It will teach you a lot of new experiences. It'll open up a lot of new opportunities for you in the future, and just give it a go. You've got literally nothing to lose.
Lovely.
Nothing to
Thank you so
lose.
much for that.
Yeah. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time. We'll be back with the wrap up.
We're back with a wrap up with this beautiful, beautiful episode about engineering,
It's very fun.
motherhood,
Coffee, challenges, everything. Man.
spiders
Spiders.
with a red dot.
Yeah, watch out for those little spiders. Just serious.
Honestly, I guess good for her, everything she's doing.
Yeah. I like her energy. She's always positive.
Yeah.
And it's what's the word? Help me here.
I literally have no idea what you're trying to say.
Well, I can't find it now. I'll tell you later.
No, she's definitely someone that has gone through a lot. She adapted
Yes.
very well.
Yes, she is.
7 years, is it?
7 years in Australia.
That's a long time
That's a
in
long
Australia.
time. That's a long time.
And especially that she's doing petroleum, which she thinks is easy.
She thinks it's easy.
I think it's difficult.
That is very difficult.
Well, good luck to her.
Yes. Join us next time for more interviews with interesting guests right here on the Untold, where they share their beautiful stories with Hussein and Ahmad ALMazeedi.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
see you next time. Good night.
Good night.